Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, I really appreciate you guys stopping by and giving me a chance. I'm Prepping by Faith, and in this video today, we are going to be answering the question, is prepping the answer? Prepping has actually picked up a lot of momentum since about 2020 and the health crisis that ensued. And there are a lot of people that are getting on board with the idea of preparedness. And sometimes I do wonder, is this a craze that is going to eventually die out if things do begin to improve? I'm going to share with you what I'm learning. So, one of the things that I've been doing is spending a lot of time in deep thought about preparedness and really trying to sift out what is working, what isn't. And I will tell you this one thing that I have learned in my prepping journey is that preparedness is always going to have a part in my life. I just don't see how it wouldn't. Knowing that I have the food and supplies there to sustain my family should any threat level take place that disrupts the supply chain or makes it difficult to access the grocery store or just makes food unaffordable, or just a few of the reasons that I think that we should be as stocked up as possible. But I think the biggest challenge for me, and I'm sure it has been for a lot of you guys as well, has been determining what is a credible threat and what isn't. There is a lot of information that is coming at us constantly, and I don't blame other channels for putting out a lot of the stuff that they do. I know there's a lot of people that will talk about, the doom type channels, but a lot of the information that we're being fed through MSM is, doom type information. And a lot of us are just trying to sift through that and figure out, is this applicable or not, or is this just more hype? So I do, question, are there certain elements that are being hyped up that could cause people to panic and to buy too much of certain items? There's also the question of, should we all homestead, or should we live in a bunker, or should we be completely off grid? And I think every person has to really weigh these things out for themselves and determine if this is the type of lifestyle that they are ready to embrace. I'm never going to tell you guys to sell everything that you own and stock up on all of these supplies that you can get a hold of. I'm never going to tell you guys that if you stay in the city, you are for sure going to die. I will always tell you guys to pray about your situations and your circumstances and make measured and balanced decisions when it comes to anything in your life. So, I will tell you the direction that my family has ultimately decided to go. We have determined that the area that we currently live in Colorado is just too expensive, and our income isn't going to sustain us with all these constant increases. So the political line of thought and a lot of the state laws really don't jive with our way of thinking. We've been unable to find a home church, which is something else that's really weighed on me for a long time. Water is one of the most important preps, if not the most important prep. And there is a lot of scarcity of that here in our state, where it is constantly being rationed. Also, the prices of it are just monumental, and I believe that they're only going to continue to increase as time goes on. So, armed with this kind of information, we've made the decision to relocate. My husband is actually applying for jobs in another state. And I think the best thing that anyone can really do is to just sit down and write out all of the pros and cons of their area and then decide what makes sense. I would rather be aware of the approaching train, and still be able to see far enough down the tracks to where that inevitable collision is going to take place and still have enough time to change the outcome of that trajectory, rather than choosing to remain inactive and just pray that we aren't priced out of our home. So I think that we have to be wise in every decision that we make. We should never just jump out there without thinking or taking the time to calculate the costs associated with any kind of major change in our lives, whatever that change may be. But we should never just sit back and, remain an idle bystander either, and be paralyzed by fear and what might happen in the unknown if we step out there. So life is filled with a lot of difficult decisions that we have to make. And it's always easy to look back on the decisions that we did make and see what we would have done differently. But it's much harder to look forward into the unknown and really step out there by faith, right? So I think that ultimately that's what faith is really about. It's still having hope that things are going to work out. It's still realizing that as long as you have, air in your lungs, you have blood in your body, you're above ground, that you still have another opportunity for you to succeed, even if you do make a mistake or several along the way. It's knowing that everything is going to turn out all right in the end, but you do have to put action behind your faith. You can't just pray and expect that miracle to land in your lap if you're not willing to do anything to get that ball rolling. I've actually been watching a series with my husband on the History Channel, and it's about all of the major food companies that got established in America after the Civil War, and the explosion in population in these cities, and how all the different obstacles that these people faced. So it's absolutely amazing to me, the innovation and the creativity that they had, and the overwhelming determination that they had to see their ideas become successful. It reminds me so much of the American dream that so many of us have believed in for such a long time and are concerned about dying out. And it really reignited something in me. Several of them actually lost everything the first time that they tried. And, they went ahead and picked themselves back up, and they didn't let that stop them. In spite of the adversity, they went ahead and they persevered. And I think that's how it's got to be for all of us. It doesn't matter how dark and difficult the circumstances are, and it doesn't matter how tight they put that noose around our necks. We need to remember who we are in Christ and really continue pushing forward with so much determination and faith that we know that what's waiting for us on the other side is going to be glorious. So to wrap this all up, I do think that prepping is important. I think that people should really consider adverse weather events and supply chain disruptions, inflation, and job loss in their preparedness plan. I think it's only wise to continue prepping to the best of our abilities. However, it isn't how big your prep or pantry is that's going to determine your success level. The two most important things that you really need to factor in is going to be your determination and your faith, because those two things are what will ultimately influence your outcome and how successful you're going to be with prepping or in life. So if you guys have enjoyed this video today, please give me a like, share, and subscribe. And remember to pray, prep, and put God first. God bless. Hey guys, are you concerned about the death of the dollar? Are you concerned about a full-blown economic collapse? If you are, I want you to consider giving Genesis Gold Group a call. They are a Christian-based company that is going to help you roll over your 401k into a gold-backed IRA that is self-governed. You also have the ability to send them cash and take possession of those precious metals if that is something that you would like to do. As we see all of these things unfolding before us, the sky high inflation, the move away from the US dollar as a petrodollar, and we see the central bank digital currencies that are going to be underway this summer. Preserving our wealth through precious metals is one way to sort of hedge our bets and make sure that we have something that is going to be more substantial to carry us forward. So go ahead, check them out. They are Genesis Gold Group, genesisgoldgroup.com, or give them a call at 1-800-200-4653. Tell them Prepping by Faith sent you, and God bless.